Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Sess podcast. Today I have a special, lovely guest, Maya. And we're going to be just, talking about some things today and just getting into it. So first, I want you to introduce, don't stare at me. You looking so off.
Okay, wait, let me stare at the camera, okay?
Okay, so just get into like introduce yourself, what you do, everything about Maya, Miss Maya Reid.
Okay. Okay, hi guys, I'm Maya Reid. I am a licensed esthetician, and I'm 25 years old from Buffalo, New York, originally. Yeah.
So what's your business name? Oh. All of that good stuff, girl. All of it. We want to know all of it.
My business name is Majestic Lashes, and I'm in the process of it being Majestic Lashes and Aesthetics, but New York State takes forever to do everything. So it's being transitioned over now. My business offers all types of aesthetic services, from skincare to lashes to non-invasive fillers. I took waxing off, but I don't know how to wax. And teeth whitening, teeth gems, anything you could think of that is that revolves around the aesthetics world. My business name derived from my love of unicorns. And I love unicorns because they're like the most mystical animal in the Bible. And, I'm a God's girl, so.
I know that's right, girl. So where can we find you?
You can find, my location or my Instagram or like my social media?
Social medias.
Okay, so my Instagram is the platform that I prefer to use for my business. It is majestic_aesthetics. And my location is 901 Niagara Street, Buffalo, New York, 14213. And my business phone number is 716-334-0075. If you text that number, call that number, I'll get back to you and send you my booking site. And send you my booking site, and we can talk about whatever services y'all want to talk about.
Consultation.
Yes, basically. Yes.
So what really got you into the beauty field? We could get into that. That could be our first thing.
So honestly, if I'm being honest, I didn't think that I was going to do anything in the beauty industry, honestly. I thought I was going to be a nurse right off the bat. And school just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
ECC wasn't working for me when I wanted to go to a four-year institute, but at the same time, I wasn't focused when I got out of high school. So I just knew what the best thing for me to do would be. And honestly, going to school, I went to school 3 semesters in total, and I did a horrible job. So eventually I just decided that it just wasn't for me. I grew up where parents told you to go to school. College was what you did. And in my family, that's what got you successful. I come from a background of women who have their masters and stuff like that. So, when you grow up in a family like that, that's what you're taught to do.
It's a rush. It's like a push.
Yeah, it is.
It make you feel obligated, because that was me, girl.
No, seriously.
My mom, that was her biggest mistake, because she in a lot of debt right now because of me.
No. Listen, okay? And it's hard to get out of it once you get it, because food's so expensive and it adds up so fast. And it just wasn't for me. I'm a natural born hustler. I know how to hustle. So I know how to make money. I know how to get to work. That's what I do. So, and that is that's traits that come from my father. He's very smart. I'm a very smart person, especially when it comes to the books. I've always been super smart in science, math, stuff like that. And English and everything else came naturally. But the hustle was just in me. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to get a car, get a house. I knew that this is all stuff that I wanted to do. Looking back now, I rushed it a little bit, but so when I dropped out of school, I was still in school actually that semester, but I wasn't really going. But I was working at a collection agency. I had started working at a collection agency. I absolutely hated it. And this one manager, He pissed me off so bad because the one supervisor, like director, supervisor, big guy, used to let me do my schoolwork at the desk when I was at work. For when I actually did go to school.
I'm dogging it.
And that'd be so good. And he yelled at me one day for doing my schoolwork. And so I slammed my book on the table with a desk. And I walked
Why
out.
you do that work?
Because he pissed me off so bad. It was just like, y'all think that this is the end all be
what
all,
I
so
need.
let me show you.
It was
like, let me show you.
One thing,
I couldn't do it.
One thing about a job, as soon as you start acting like I need to be here, I'm going to show you exactly why I don't.
I gotta go.
I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't need to be here. That's not my way to my bread and butter.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm out of here. So I just like slammed my book my binder on the table. It was anatomy too. I slammed my binder on the table and I was like, I quit. I'm leaving. Yeah, I quit and didn't even have no money.
Girl, that don't matter.
I didn't have no money. I quit. I had $200-something in my pocket. I took a lash class with $200. See somebody advertised it. I was like, let me take the lash class. I took that lash class with $200. Yeah, the lash class was like, it was different. It was definitely different. But I was determined.
Yes.
Even after, I was determined. And it's so crazy because I remember some of the girls in the class with me. Like, we have each other on social media. And it's so crazy because I look at it now and I'm the only one that's still doing it. Like, I'm the only one that took it to the next level.
To the next level, yeah.
Yeah, but I seen something in it and I just had to do it. And once I quit my job, like my family had a trip coming up. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to go out of town with? Like no money. I started doing lashes for $25. They were horrible. So for anybody who was starting something and it's horrible, keep going. They were absolutely horrible. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it. I was doing it. And then there was like, asking for help back then. Like, I feel like when I first started, I was like the youngest in the game to the big dogs. So it was like,
and think about it, nobody was lashing like that for real.
Yeah,
like,
and
it wasn't a lot of people lashing in the style that like everybody started really getting into. Nobody was really doing that.
Nobody was. And like a lot of people didn't want to help. Like people didn't really want to help. But I ended up a few years into me lashing, like I would say consistently lashing, like maybe like a year and a half in, I ended up going to the Lash of Elegance with India Peace. She owns it. And when I tell y'all, like anything I had a question about, she helped me with. And then there was a lady named Nikki who worked there, and she didn't really more so lash. She was more so a waxer, but she helped me a lot too.
Yeah, like business and aesthetic stuff.
She knew too. Like her and Indy helped me. Like Indy put me on her books for the first few months of me being there. And it helped me get a lot of clientele because people were booking with me off of her booking site. And then like I just started to promote my stuff. And then a year into me being at the shop, COVID hit. And I think everybody's business took off.
Everybody was getting their bag. Let me tell you. PPPs, they coming to get you.
They are.
Like, you know that.
They definitely are. Yeah. So like, during the pandemic, my business really hit. And after the pandemic hit, it was so crazy. A little bit, once it started to die down more, around the time that the vaccines came out, like right before that, I went and took a class. And I went and took that class in Alabama. And when I went there, like I learned certain techniques that I was already teaching myself, but I was able to
enhance it.
Enhance it more. And the style that I wanted, it just boomed from there. Like it boomed from there. And then I was doing like classes with the person that I took the class with. And then I just realized like the lash industry is just a little too catty for me. So
it's very saturated. Like I'm gonna be honest, like even for my lash journey, I got into a shop and now I'm like, I'm lashing. I literally remember the month. I just like, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I literally had to talk with God. I'm like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't feel like this is it for me. Like, I know I'm good at it. And I realize this is a gift that you gave me. I'm able to do this. But I'm like, I just don't want to be here. That next month, I found out I was pregnant. So, like,
He was like,
whatever.
this is my break.
That was like my break, but it was just so, I felt like I was trying to hold on to it. Like, I recently just came to terms, like, I don't want to lash no more. Like, I don't find, it's cool doing certain people lashes. I love doing a service for service. So if you want to do a service for service. But other than that, like, for me personally, like, my walk, like, I just think getting closer to God, it was something he told me, like, I just could, like, do you gotta let this go for where he want to take me, for what I got. And I think people don't realize, like, it's just certain things, like, it's different for everybody, you know, like,
it is.
And I just felt like I was trying to hold on to it so much because I'm like, I know it's money there, like, worried about the wrong stuff, basically.
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. A lot of people, like, you'd be so surprised. Like, I've taught so many girls lashes and done so many one-on-one classes, and people be like, well, the money looks so good.
But it's hard.
Yeah, like,
baby,
people be like, oh, the money looks so good. But one thing about the beauty industry, you cannot be in the beauty industry if you don't like what you're doing. You can't be an entrepreneur if you don't love what you're doing, because there's going to be days where you make
nothing.
$2,000 going to be days where you make nothing at all. Like, it's going to be weeks where your books is filled from the week before, 2 weeks before that. And then there's going to be weeks where you don't have nobody in there and you don't know where your next dollar is coming from. And you got bills and you got this and you got that. And you want to get your hair done, you want to get your lashes and you want to get your nails done. But you can't always do that. So if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
But lashes honestly saved me because I was going down the total wrong route. I wouldn't say I had a hard childhood, but my childhood wasn't the easiest either. There's a lot of stuff that that I went through that I had to give to God and allow Him to handle it. And there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about me. Yeah. And there's a lot of ways that I used to be that people might not remember. Whereas there is a lot of ways that people might remember, and they look at me now and they're like, dang, like, she's totally different. But lashes is really what saved me. If I never found lashes, I don't know where I would be at. I don't know what I'd be doing for real, because I don't know where it came from, but God smacked that right in my face. And once He smacked it in my face,
He having to give, like, I say this, like, God will give you something for you, specific to you, and it's going to flip everything, going to change around. Like, I don't know why mine's had to be a kid, but
girl, you never stuff like that happens.
It really, but like how you said, like, exactly what you said, like, that's kind of what it was with me with God. Like, I knew that was the slap in my face, like, because like I said, I was lashing. I'm getting the money coming in. It's looking good, but girl, I'm blowing the money.
Exactly, and we always do. Especially, oh my gosh, when we first started making our own money, and we not on a 9-to-5, every 2-week paycheck or every week paycheck, yo.
That's some dangerous stuff, because if you get, let's say you
if
just
everybody
start at
worked
100.
a job that paid them every single week and they paid them $2,000 every single week, everybody be broke. They would be broke.
Listen, I'm like, and I'm just like, this is not like, what am I doing? Like, where, like, what is this taking me? And I realize now what lashing was for me, because when I went through a period, like, I couldn't work after I had my baby. I was breastfeeding. She didn't want to be around nobody. Like, she just always wanted to be up under me. I probably would get maybe 2 to 4 hours of a babysitter. So that was like, okay, I'm not working. And I feel like that, I realized God gave me that. So like the time where I wasn't working, I was able to still make stuff happen and make it by and do what I had to do. So I'm like, I'm not in that phase right now no more. Like, I feel like God brought me out of that. And it's like, so now, like, I brought you out of it. So now you have to let that go. Like, you have
do
to
what
leave
you
that
love.
there.
Leave it. If you feel like it's not for you, leave it where it needs to be. And I tell people that all the time. I tell people to do what you feel like you need to do. Do what you feel like God is calling you to do. And if you feel like He's pulling you away from something, also walk away from it. Because He'll prune you from things to bring you back to better to bring you better things. Yeah, whatever. That's your stepping stone. You know, that's part of your... Excuse me. I'm sorry. That matcha is getting to me.
But like, it really is.
That's your stepping stone. Yeah, and lashes is part of your testimony. I'm sure you had some encounters during the lash industry, some stories to tell, like some clients that you took. I'm sure that you done.
Girl, no, because I don't be doing all of that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen. Anybody who know me, no, I don't. That's the big reason why I don't think I promoted it, because I really don't like confrontation. Like, I'm one of them people that it's either 0 or 100. And I'm very like, I do try to stay professional. I like to be respectful to anybody, everybody,
not even
regardless.
just bad stories though. Like lashing brings
peaceful stuff. Yeah,
it brings a lot of different interactions. See, in my opinion, I've only had one like bad encounter.
Yeah,
and you just like I learned from that. You just can't do business with everybody.
With everybody,
you can't mess your money with everybody, but. My clients have never really had anything
no issue.
bad. Like, my clients be good. Like,
I feel like it'd be like, comfortable. Like my clients became my friends. But it's just like, I think for me, it was just like, and especially with the baby, I'm like, dang, like I feel like now I'm a full-time mom. I'm full-time because I'm breastfeeding full-time. So I'm with her. She at my hip every moment. So now I'm got to cancel appointments, push back appointments. Then I had to get surgery. And I'm like, it was just all these things like where God was saying like, let it go. Let it let it go. Let it go. And I'm like, but it's like I can make this amount.
No, for real. But he got something better for you coming.
Like,
he definitely does.
And so that was I've been had to let that wrap it up with the lashing because I don't like that. I don't want to book an appointment. I don't want to do all of that. It's just a lot. But I think you have to have a certain mindset for beauty. And I think people don't understand that, like to be in the beauty industry and they see it, like they see the glitz and glam, but like you shared, like it started off like it was a process for you. Yeah. It was something like you had to work your way up to get here. And even with you, like you've added so much things to your business instead of just focusing in on lashing, because I think sometimes people see one like, oh, I want to do lashes and I want to just do waxing, and they see people running it up off of that. But sometimes you gotta dibble and dabble every way.
And it takes people time to get to that. You don't just wake up one day and make money. Yeah. Like that is not how it works. I wish that's how it worked, but unfortunately it's not. That's not how it works. And oh man, like there's been days where I've been like, do I really want to do this? And then one thing I never did, I will honestly say I have never quit. I have always kept going.
And I think, I'm going to be honest with you.
What?
I'm a little quitter.
It's okay though, because everybody
I'm a quitter.
There's a reason why you quit though. People don't just be like, I'm done.
Yeah,
there's always a reason behind why we stop doing something.
But I know, like, I feel like people look at me and be like, she just do everything. Like, she dibble, like, and that's okay. And at a point in time, I like used to be very conscious about that. Like, we had a conversation about that. Like, and I'm like, I just was so worried about what it looked like to people. But now I really had to sit and talk to God. And he like, no, this is what I needed to look like.
Exactly.
Like, I needed to look
and
like.
And it's okay
like
to be a jack of all trades. Do you remember when we was talking, I told you the average millionaire has 7 streams of income? That is the truth. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And at that moment, when I heard that saying, I knew that lashes was not the ending. It was only the beginning. And I see why people's attitudes be so like harsh and so stank when it comes to certain things, making money with certain things, or
like jealous.
Why people gatekeep when it comes to stuff, because they think that that's all that there is. And it's not. It's not it. Like, to me, lashes was just the beginning to a very big journey. And no matter where I go, I know that I'm going to be successful by the grace of God, because of not what my business has or the money that it's creating, but who it made me become. Like, God definitely did his big one when he gave me lashes, because it changed my whole everything. Like, my whole attitude, my demeanor, my attitude, just the way that I used to just be so hot-headed. I don't do none of that no more. Like, it was just my saving grace, honestly. And
I think that like business, like becoming an entrepreneur is a big blessing. Like it's not something, I think we look at entrepreneurship like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like it's this aesthetic, or it's so cool and da, 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 da. But if you really look at it as what it is, it's a blessing from God. And if you really invest into that blessing and how God is blessing your hand, that idea, you're going to realize it's not only going to take you to different places, it's going to make you somebody different. I feel like that, like, once I realized, okay, like I'm an entrepreneur, like this is my mindset, like the hustler mindset. So I know, okay, I gotta deal with people different. I gotta interact different. I gotta portray myself a little bit different on social media. Not portray, but like I used to share stuff and not care about what somebody said. Yeah, like
carry yourself differently. You just have to be mindful.
Mindful of people.
The only thing I'm not mindful about is that people, some people be like, oh, well, I've had somebody call me before and tell me, oh, you shouldn't share stuff about religion because you're running a business. I don't give a I don't care. I don't care.
People,
and I don't care about nobody's religion. If you want to share what you want to share,
you
share it. Whoever your higher power is, you glorify that person. Yeah. Well, not that person, but you glorify that higher power. And I'm glorified Jesus. And I'm going to share what I want to share about Jesus Christ because that's my business. And if you don't want to come to me because of that, you have your own right not to come to me. You do. But where one doesn't come because of that, I know that God is going to send me.
That's the only thing I'm not going to share. Like, that's one thing I always say that, like, even with my podcast, I'm like, if you don't believe in God, baby, this might not be the podcast for you, boo. Yeah. Because God all up in this. But even just, I like, when I start like really giving my life to God, I'm sharing stuff. People so worried about what you sharing on social media, like, oh, like, I think sometimes people just can't believe, like, what you be sharing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what it is, or what it is, what it ain't. And I think that was like a big thing for me. Not really just for my business, but like, I think I just did this whole transition. I'm not about to be like sharing stuff with my opinion no more. Cause I'm realizing like, well, I'm being judgmental. So yeah, I'm sharing more stuff about God because if I'm realizing and correcting myself and walking, like going on my walk, what else am I supposed to be sharing? People just always got something to say though. Like,
no, they will. People gonna have something to say till the day we die.
Listen,
they talked about Jesus, how they not talk about us? Okay.
So, since we kind of in this direction with the business stuff, so like, what in your business or like in your career just made you say like, okay, yeah, I really gotta put God into this, like completely, like, you know?
So like, honestly, so I was 20 when I started my business, and 20 when I took my life class, 21 when I really started my business. But I knew that Lashing was my saving grace, but it took me a minute to really realize that it was. But I will say, like, I grew up in a church. My parents always made sure that I went to church and stuff like that, and I believed in God, but was I walking with Him? No, I didn't even know how to walk with Him. I knew He was real, but I didn't know how to walk with Him. And when you doing certain things in your life, you don't, you're not doing things of Him. Sometimes you forget who He is. Not that you don't believe Him, but you just be like, oh, okay, like,
or like,
He's there, but
ashamed. I was ashamed. I'm like, God, you be seeing me. Like, you see what I'm doing. You see how I'm acting. And I used to like was going to a church and I'm like, bro, I can't keep going here because I'm not like one of them. I don't like to fake. Like, I don't like to fake. I'm very, very upfront about who I am. Who I am is who I am across the board. Getting closer to God, I've realized He's just been taking the positives of my character and making it positive instead where I was making it negative and for the world. So I've always had that thing, like with church, like, how can I sit in a church with people and I know you doing X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, and no, I'm not judging you because I'm doing X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. But why can't you be honest with me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you share that you're really, you're messed up?
No.
Because I'm messed up.
No, seriously.
So, but you want me to come up here?
That's how a lot of people get,
Girl,
shoot, I can't take this out because of the microphone. You know what? It's okay. That's how a lot of people get steered. I feel like that's how a lot of people end up steered away from the church. You know how many people have told me that? Because, girl, I'm a big advocate on come to church with me. Like, that's like my going to the bar. You know how people go to the bar? Like, and they're like, let's go get a drink. Yeah. Like, mine is let's go to church together. Yeah. But I feel like people let the human beings steer them away from church. everybody has their own issues.
Yeah,
everybody has
we
their
all
own
do,
convictions. I will say that I had to.
Oh, that just scared me.
I know, I looked over too. I will say that, like, I had to
put them like side.
Yeah, like I never really cared about how people were in the church. You know why?
Why?
Because I know that when I first went, I was messed up too. Like I was so messed up. And you don't always come to terms with what you did or how you acted or who you were before. And sometimes it takes time. Yeah. Sometimes people just try to push it to the side, or a person can go to church on Sunday and be so nasty every day, but we just gotta let God work on them. And
I'm gonna be honest with you, this like something I had to talk to God about. And he kind of just said to me, like, basically, as I'm sitting here figuring this person did XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. If he wants me to speak to my brother, my sister, to speak to anybody, and I did XYZ, XYZ, am I not credible because I did what I did? But I think it kind of also showed me why my approach will be different, because I'm very like honest, like, you don't need to do this, this, and this, and that, because you look like this and this and that. But I learned this because I was doing this, this, and that, and I was looking like this and this and that. Like, I think I like people who are very just honest. I did in the church, like, find somebody who was like being honest and sharing with me, but I just felt like everybody else around was just, it wasn't hitting for me.
Yeah, like, and it's so crazy because I have a pastor and a first lady like that. Like, my pastor and my first lady, I love them dearly. Like, those are really my spiritual parents because they keep it so real. They don't act like they ain't never been through nothing. They don't act like they ain't never did nothing. Like, and fortunately, I have been blessed to be placed in the churches, even growing up. Like, I used to go to Zion Dominion. Like, even my pastor and first lady there, like, when I was going there with my mom, they're real too. They keep it real with you, But my church now is a light church, and it's a smaller, intimate setting, which is what I need to be able to understand. And, I needed that. Like, that brought me back to Christ. But like, that's why I love my church, because it's just so everybody there, like, I just feel like, I mean, of course, every place has its mess.
It's people,
but I don't never have to be involved in it. And
it's like you don't have to be.
I never got to hear about nobody's personal life, and you don't even look at them funny. But what's so crazy, because like my experiences, like sometimes, like you said, you're very honest. I'm very honest too. God can use our honesty with others and our vulnerability with others to bring it out of them. Like sometimes a person needs to be. Even when you feel like a person's not being honest with you, or a person's like putting on a facade, sometimes your honesty can bring up theirs. Yeah, and like, that's true. It brings it out.
But that also keeps people away from me. I realized that's what I've been realizing now. Like, I realize it brings it out of people, but now I'm realizing that's why I'm losing people, because that makes people uncomfortable. Like, when you're very okay with your truth and you're very okay with who you are and walking in that and knowing like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I've been, and now I'm giving this all to God. Like, so now the only person, like, when you really get to a point where you mentally say only God can judge me, and not because I'm being wild and being crazy, but because I know what I did, I know what I'm changing, and I know how I'm moving forward. So anything you throwing at me is like, God already done forgave me 10 prayers ago, boo. Like,
absolutely, now it
like,
it
don't even matter.
No, like, I get it. It doesn't even matter. And like the honesty, like, that we have with ourselves and with others, like, I've really learned that people gravitate towards me when I share my testimony. Yeah. And when they see my testimony, and it brings people to you, and they're like,
girl, that's
wow, what am I doing? Because, like, how do I walk the path that you're walking, or how do I get to that point? Because I try so hard and I just feel like it's not working, and it yada yada yada. And I tell everybody the same thing, girl. Like, whatever it is that was bothering you, just got to heal from. Whatever it is that was hindering you from being your best self or walking with God, you have to heal from and allow Him into your life. And then from that point forward, it goes from there. It goes from there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the biggest thing. Like, I feel like I really got closer to God because I don't say I didn't have no choice, but I really didn't have no choice. Like, I really had no choice.
He backs you in the corner sometimes. He does.
He said, baby, because I don't know, I felt like I knew, like you said, I knew God. I've been in church. Like, I grew up in church. So I always knew God was real. Even as a kid, I always knew he had like something, like had his hands on me. Like, I knew he did. But you get older and it's like, I'm playing in God's face. Like, I already knew I was playing in God's face when he said, honor thy mother and thy father. And I was just being disrespectful.
Oh yeah. My dad used to always, oh my goodness. My dad used to always be like, you know, the Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father. And I was like,
yeah, girl, but now that since I know
should honor me.
Listen, but since I read that whole thing, because once I got grown, and I remember I told my mom the one day, I said, but it also say you do not start with me either. So
for real, for real, it definitely speaks about chastising your children. It does, and our parents don't always do things the correct way, but we always got to remember too, like. Parents don't come with no book. They don't come with no handbook. They're going to make mistakes and they're going to learn from them and they're going to grow from them. And that's part of the forgiveness that I had
Forgiveness, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
This is ridiculous. Honestly, like, I don't know if it's a hiccup, a burp, or whatever it is.
Starbucks, girl.
It's crazy.
But no, yeah.
But yeah, I had to, that's something that I had to accept into my life too. Like, I had to, that's part of the forgiveness that I had to bring into my life. And it was with my parents and stuff. And my parents didn't treat me horrible or nothing like that. But there were certain things that I wanted to, that I wish could have been done differently. But I had to stop living in the past and wishing what could have been. You know, I had to really just accept what it is and what it was. And yes, literally. And I had to be grateful for the parents that I had too, because I could have came out so much different than what I came out to be. And I have to give all of the credit to my parents and God, literally, because without them and without the way that they were, like, you know, I don't know who I would have been. You know, I see a lot of people that were in my age bracket and, you know, they had parents that I wish I could have had, like, oh, I want to do whatever I want. You should let me do whatever I want. You should let me have boys over. You should let me do this. You should let me do that. And now I see them. And when they speak about stuff like on social media or something, they couldn't stand that their parents was that way. And meanwhile, I was wishing that I had parents that way. But now being grown, I understand it. Yeah. Like when you hear a person out, you really understand why they wanted their parents, why they wished that they had a different type of parent or something like that.
And it's about that. I think that's why I said, like, God backed me in the wall with having a daughter, because now it's like, I wanted a son so bad. Cause I'm like, okay, God, you give me a kid. At least give me a boy. Give me something easy.
Give me a boy.
Like, not another me. But then he gave me a girl. So then it's like, now, like, I got in, like, I don't want to say fear mode, but I got in, like, God the only one who can guide me through this. Like, God is the only person who can make me the mother I want to be. Because I had, like, my mom is a great mom, but our relationship is just, it was like toxic. Like we act so much alike, or I'm so opinionated. I've always been opinionated since I came out the womb, girl. Like, I had an opinion.
Me too. I was the same way. I was definitely like the child that was much different.
Yeah.
My siblings,
like I always have something to say. I always gotta communicate, but like communicate what I feel is right and what's wrong and stuff. Like, I always just had that. That was always me. So I feel like it always caused a lot of back and forth with me and my mom. And it kind of drifted, like the relationship just kind of was like, yeah, nah, like you're not, cause I feel like you're not going to talk to me like this, but you the adult. So you're not going to talk to me like this. So having my baby, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with a girl. Like, what am I going to do with a little girl? And I'm like, God, break the cycle. Yeah. And that's, I'm like, I have to break this. Like, I got to change. Like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be all these things that I yell at my mom or be mad at my mom about. So it's like, that was like the biggest thing for me. Like,
no, I understand that. I definitely understand that. And, back to me. Let me get back to the question you asked me. You said what allowed me to. Girl, listen, it's okay. What got me back in my zone with God, right? What told me like I need to
where
get
you
it
had
together.
to choose him? Yeah, like we're like, okay, this is my life right now. This happened, and I was like, girl, I gotta get to God.
Honestly, you want me to be honest with you? My first heartbreak.
For real, it be like that.
Yeah, like my first heartbreak, like really brought me back to God, honestly. And it's so crazy because I feel like I've always had like a daddy issue. Even though I grew up in the house with my father went to prison when I was 16 years old. So that's like an essential age in a young woman's life. Yes. Like, you know, people don't grow up with their fathers. So I was glad, you know, I'm very appreciative to have had him in my life, you know. And even now, like me and him are closer than ever, even with circumstances. Like distance hasn't done anything, but it also, distance helped us grow. But it's nothing like feeling like your father is not there when he's physically there. So I feel like the tension between us caused me to feel like I always needed attention from a male. And I don't want to say a man because every male is not a man, but in due time, everyone will learn that as well. But it caused me to crave the opposite sex attention. Like, and once I had gotten in a situation, I was in a relationship for 4 years, basically. I was in a relationship from like 19 to 23, and me and him broke up. It was just like a type of thing, like bye. Like that wasn't my heartbreak. Like I was already checked out of that relationship mentally. Looking back, I'm like, how was I even in a relationship?
It'd be like, girl,
like, that young. How
girl,
was I?
it'd be the one that you was in the longest or dealing with somebody the longest. And you be like, girl, what was you doing?
Like I look back and be like, oh my goodness, I see what everybody else saw. Like everybody can't stand it.
I was like, praying to God and crying.
Girl,
like, you was never praying to God's face about this little boy
seriously.
like that.
No, for real. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I just knew, like, when it was over for me. And so that didn't really break my heart. Like, I ended up meeting somebody a few months after I broke up with this person. And, like, it was so crazy because he reminded me so much of my dad. It was nuts.
That's the bad girl by as soon as
it was nuts.
You act just like
but you know what? And I told my dad the one time that he reminded me of him, right? And my dad told me, "Be careful, little girl. That's not always a good thing." And slowly I began to see, like, when I and I just thought he was the best person ever because, like, he used to spoil me. He invested in my business. Anything, I couldn't breathe or look at anything without him, like, making it happen. And I just used to be so happy. And my mom was like, you got to watch it.
You got to watch that, yeah.
And I'm just like, you always being negative. But she wasn't being negative. Like, my mom is so good with spotting out people. Yeah. Like, I think I get my mean discernment. Like, God placed a mean discernment on my parents and me. Like, our discernment is a mean thing.
When I tell you,
I can spot a sheep out in the room.
Listen.
So yeah, like I can spot if it's a herd of horses. Oh, I'm gonna find the sheep. And I can tell by the person don't even have to say nothing to me. I can tell. But, you know what caused that was me being able to have that discernment. It causes for you to be a nice person. I've always been super nice. The only way I was not super nice was when people would bring it out of me. But I've always been a super nice person. But when you've been done wrong one too many times, you become a little guarded. And now I feel like God kicked my discernment all the way in because I was like, yeah, no, not again. I'm not letting nobody play with me again. But yeah, my first heartbreak brought me back to God because I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, when you bring a person around you and you trust them and they tell you like, oh, I need you to be this way. Not even this way or that way, but like, I need you, like, I'm big on loyalty and this and that and third. And then they come around and the total opposite. You like, you played with me bad.
But people
and then
be like, I don't know, like people just be lost within themselves.
That's exactly what it is. They want the opposite of what they are. They want you to give off the opposite of what they are. And in the midst of that, you be losing yourself because the person done played with your mind so much. Like, and it just was like, I was just so outdone. And all in all, like the person just wasn't for me. Yeah. And he's a great guy. We're cool, but he ain't my man.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Like it really be like that.
Yes,
and then you kind of just look at like I think that was like a big thing for me, girl. Cause like I had to say, even with my child's father, I don't want to say it's like never, cause I feel like you never know what's going to come down the line, but I had to look at that with me, my child's father. I got so mad, but I had to look at the circumstance and how it led up. Like even how you said, like he came in basically not really buying your love because you cared about him, but he was like feeling these desires, like what the things you want, your business, all these
and
things.
I got out of a relationship with somebody who didn't do
nothing. So it's like that,
at all.
that change. And I think even like with me and my child's father, that like things have never been my thing because I just never like care. Like I never really cared about stuff like that. But I'm not gonna lie, like I always had this thing of like people who just like were fixated about me. Like I don't know, like that was just a bad thing I had.
You like to put somebody obsessed with you. I've heard that a lot. I'm an acts of kindness type of person. Somebody who does something to, like, it's not even more so the material, it's making my life easier.
Yeah.
Like that, like the investment in my business is what was like
the head, yeah. So yeah, and it's like I think
you just made my life 10 times easier.
Feeding off, but that's like that be the devil, girl. That be the devil, because when you be having these like these things like them love languages and stuff, everybody be talking about so big on sharing on social media. I need to stop doing that. I always say that because you giving people a playbook to how to play in your face for real.
Literally, when I'm telling you, like, and it's so crazy because when I had like talk to this person, I had ended up telling him like one day we got into like a heated discussion, and I had told him like because we never used to argue. That was the crazy part about it. We never used to argue, but we got into a heated discussion. I told him like, and no, your money cannot buy this, or no, your money can't fix this, or don't go buy me nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's the person was like, he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, because that's what you always try to yeah. That's what you always try to do. Don't go buy me nothing. Like, and it was like, I started to catch on to a lot of it after, like, I started to look at it like, I had many warning signs that this heartbreak would come, that this would lead to a heartbreak, but I was ignoring them because I liked the person so much. I began to love him, you know?
Girl, yeah, that was
and when you really like,
I know.
Yeah, that was my first like being grown, like adult type of love, you know?
Yeah, okay, and that's how I feel, because heartbreak, I think so, like, I think heartbreak is so boo-hoo crying and stuff like that. And it could just be simply like we really had to come to terms like, wow, like I really did care about this person, but I was in my lust when I started dealing with this person. I was very much in my flesh when I started dealing with this person. I seen all the red flags. That was me. I seen every red flag, called out everything that was going to happen in the situation that I was in, and still stay in the situation.
Girl, when I tell you, like, and that was a problem too, like, us as females, we have to understand, well, as human beings, period, men and females, we have to understand that we have to stop endeavoring ourselves into everyone. Like, you can't mix every spirit with you. Everybody's soul don't deserve to be next to your soul. When that soul's supposed to be there, God will give it to you. He'll give you that person that's supposed to be there, but we gonna make the mistakes.
Or not the way that you think so. Cause I be saying now, like, I look at a lot of stuff, like, even with me and my child's father, like, we really could, like, if we had just been cool, like, we really could be, like, the bestest of friends. Like, we really, that's our dynamic in our natural, like, when we're both not in our feelings or mad or angry, and it's just not, we're genuinely, like, best friends. Like, we could communicate and speak like best friends.
Exactly.
But it's like we crossed the line. Like, now it's a baby involved. Now it's just,
and that's what I mean when I say everybody's soul, because sex is a big problem. We can't always have sex with everyone that we feel like, oh, he's
like, oh, he's the one. Oh my gosh.
When I tell y'all, it is so bad. Sex is such a dangerous thing to bring into a situation. Not only like dangerous emotionally, and you know, it's dangerous physically too. It's, you know, it's dangerous. It's dangerous mental, emotional, and physical game to play around with. And now I see why, you know, in the Bible, God does tell us that we should not have sex out of wedlock, because we are really like, we're just mixing ourselves with so many different people and so many different spirits. It literally makes no sense. And I'm not saying this to tell y'all to stop having sex today or tomorrow. I'm saying it because of what I've experienced and what I know now from experience. You know, like, sex is just something that just should not be done freely because, you know, like I've been there where, you know, you ever hear about them people that be having like sex addictions and masturbation addictions and stuff like that. Girl, when I tell you that lustful spirit is real. It's real.
I know people like that. And I think for me, where I got messed up was I had a lot of traumatizing things happen to me as a kid. So I didn't like people touching me. I was always a very I just didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to like people to feel on me. And I was very insecure. Like I grew up like a chunky kid. So when I finally got comfortable in my body, I just didn't want everybody touching me anyways because of that. So I think I got like a part of the little daddy issues. As soon as I felt very comfortable with somebody, then it was like, oh, yup.
Yeah. And you know, it's so crazy.
Here you go.
Literally, like it's so crazy because I felt like my addiction to like lustful behaviors came from just one person.
Yeah.
Like
you
it
be
came
so
from just one person. Yeah. And I was like, because like when a person is fulfilling, what you burped or something? Why do you say sorry? Girl, I spit a little bit. When a person is fulfilling your wants and desires and things like that, like you just become like so attracted to them, but it's a wrong type of attraction. Like it's horrible. Like it's not good. You shouldn't be attracted to somebody based off of what they're doing. I've never been the type of person to be attracted to someone based off of what they're doing. It's always because of who they are. But when a person is doing so much, you tend to be distracted by that.
But that's a trick and scheme, y'all. That's the tricks and schemes of the enemy, girl. Because the enemy, like, even when I'm trying to get people to understand, like, even when you get in the cars and all these nice things, like, sometimes you got to reevaluate and sit and figure out who it's coming from. Yeah, who it's coming from.
Yeah, and it's not always bad. It might not always be a bad thing, but you will know when it's bad. You will know when it's good. You'll be able to tell.
You might not be. Because if you ain't really
when you are in tune with God, you will be able to tell. You'll be able to tell when it's genuine and when it's not, when it's a whole bunch of games.
Because if you just playing, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just taking God as just this joke, and you're not really a joke, but, oh, God is God, he gives me things, you won't know. The Bible literally says that you won't know. Because the devil could come off as righteous.
Yep.
So you could be taking in things like, oh, this is such a big accomplishment. And you can literally be doing something or getting things that came from going against God and what he wants for you and his promise. And
if it's going against him, I don't want it.
And I don't want it. So like you said, it's different when you know who it's from. And that's like, even with relationships, you got to know who it's from and where it's coming from. Because even sometimes God can be sending you people to grow with and heal with, but it might not be having to go as far as we make it. That's why it's so really important to really just get to know people, learning people, unraveling people, because you start really talking to somebody and they're going to tell you like, yeah, I didn't shot at some people. My mom was in my life, and now you're not judging, because that used to be me. I'm hearing this like, oh my goodness.
No, seriously.
Because I'm not judging you, but in all like actuality, I'm like, dang, like I'm not even healed. So now I'm about to take you, you're unhealed.
And try to heal you.
You're unhealed.
We try to heal people when we're not even healed ourselves. Like, oh my girl.
Because the common sense me, as soon as you start saying stuff like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, baby, no.
Listen, one thing about it, like,
no, baby, we can't do it.
One thing about it, it's like, you know, I have come to the realization that I need somebody that's equally yoked. Like, and that's the reason why I'm choosing not to have sex with anybody, because I want my next relationship to be my last relationship, and I want it to be meaningful. Like, I want to be with my person and really know that you're with me for me and not for my assets, my physical assets or my body, or not because I can please you sexually. Like, that is so small to me. Like, because I don't even have no sexual desires right now, because it's like, I got so much other things that's so much more important. Girl, it's no point. Like, I'm just out of that stage. And I was in that stage for sure. I was a hot girl.
And I think for me now, it's like, I want people who don't want to be around me for my assets, like more of mentally, because I've never really like, girl, I didn't talk to dudes for like a long time, like years, like 17, still talking at 21, 22, 23, and never did anything with them. But I generally don't like feeling like people, like, I feel like it's like, I don't want to like say this like, oh no, bragging, but it's a privilege to really get around me. Like, talk to me, sit with me, like, let me pick your mind, because I'm going to have you thinking beyond what you think.
Yep.
So now, like, I feel like I'm really saving myself because I realize people could kind of drain that from you, and not intentionally. Like, they could really be doing it with no bad intention, but because it's like, you make me feel so good.
You make me feel
but I'm
so peaceful.
so unhealed that it's just going to be constant chaos.
And that was how my last situation that, well, I shouldn't even say like the person that I was dealing with that broke my heart. I feel like that's how it broke me. And it kept me broken for some time because I felt like you came into my life when I was so peaceful. You saw the peace in me and you drained me of that when you knew that you didn't have that peace that I had. You didn't have that peace that I had. Like, I had a lot of peace. Some people be looking for it, like, they look for it when they don't have it. Some people be looking for it. And it's like, but we gotta understand, like, you can't get those things that we missing from people. You gotta get them from God. Literally.
Like, so you looking for peace, and then you meet this peaceful girl, and it's like, oh, yep, this is the peace. Or you looking for, like,
and they
somebody to save you. Yeah,
they
like,
spreading toxic energy. It's so toxic because now you just spread it to somebody else, and that's not fair.
And it's not fair
because you're tainting a good heart unintentionally, but you're doing it. And when a person like myself at the time, like I said, I wasn't all the way into where I needed to be with my relationship with God. So like, I allowed it to taint me.
To go further than what it should. And that's listen. And I'm gonna be honest, like, what my child's father, I had to really like be like, okay, like, you know, I can't blame you for anything, really. Like, I had to really get to the point where, like, you have no blame. Even if you did stuff wrong, you have no blame. Like,
you gotta let go of the resentment.
But now I'm realizing this situation is bringing me back to a me that I said a long time ago I wasn't gonna be no more. So now moving forward, like, how can I still love you? Because I have to love you. Like, you my peoples.
Yeah,
we're family now.
Yeah, y'all family forever.
Yeah, like, we
girl, you gonna always see his face.
Always. So it's like, I needed that situation because I've always been easy cutting people off. Like, that's always been me. I'll cut you off. Like, breathe funny. Yeah, you gonna see something.
Girl, that used to be me too. I used to be, like, it's not even, I don't even want to say used to, because like, I have very low tolerance for stuff.
But you're supposed to be stand on business.
I just don't give people a second chance to do the same thing 2 times. My older sister said it to me one time. It was so crazy because she actually said it to me while I was dealing with this guy. And she told me, never let a person show you who they are 2 times. Don't let them show you who they are twice. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Girl, we been letting them show us 50 times.
Girl.
But
you gonna show me something 8 times and I'm gonna keep being like, okay, no, he's not like that. He's not like that at all. It was just a mistake. No, he did it.
But I just had to say, like, I had said something on Facebook a minute ago. I had to leave Facebook, but I had said something about, because, you know, in the Bible says we're supposed to forgive 400 some times. But I had to learn with that. Yes, we're supposed to forgive that much, but that does not mean you have to deal with that person in that way. And honestly, once I forgive you the 5th time, I'm going to stand on this forgiveness. And I'm going to walk away.
And it's so crazy because I feel like God has cleansed my heart so much and purified it so much that I forgive a person without them even saying sorry. I forgive you when you do it. I forgive you before you even do it because I know that you're going to do something. Like, I just feel like I just forgive people. Like, I don't know. It's not a struggle for me to forgive no more. Yeah, because it's like, I can't do anything besides pray on the situation. Like, I don't want to be mad at you because I don't want to be mad.
Yeah, and I got all these extra built up feelings, all this resentment in here in my heart. And it's like, for what?
Like, I have no reason to hate you. Like, I don't have any hatred for anyone in my heart, but I have chosen to forgive and move forward. Like, when you forgive things, that shall push forward. When you forgive things that have gone on, you're moving forward now. Don't put yourself back in the same situation that God helped you get out of. Because when you forgive, He's granting you the permission to move forward with things. Like, when you're asking him to help you forgive things or heal a broken part of you, once he heals it, and you can feel the difference. Once he heals it, and you know that you're forgiving
it's not, because I remember at a point, like, I really thought I had forgave, like, I forgave my child's father. I'm like, oh, God, I forgive him. Like, God, I forgive him. Because I'm on my walk. I'm trying to make it, like, it sound good.
And then the moment that he triggered you.
And not even that, my sister, she had reached out. Shout out to my sister, Camille. She was like, she just out of nowhere. And that's how, like, God really worked. And that's why it's so, like, to commune with people who are on the same walk and in the same path as you. Because she literally reached out to me and said, like, I don't know what's going on, but, like, something about forgiveness came on my heart, and she sent me this thing. And I'm like, wow, like, I really, really, really needed that. Like,
you're good. You got, I'd say 5 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, I'm like, I really needed that. Like, I needed her to send me that. Cause I'm like, I had to sit, cause I had a dream right before she sent me that about my child's father. And it was this crazy dream. And I'm just like, yeah, like, in the dream, I ended up getting mad at him about something. Or I thought the dream was like saying, like, yep, F him. Like, like, that's what the dream telling me. And she sent that to me, and I had to sit and really reevaluate what the dream was saying. And the dream was really saying, like, no, you have not forgave him. Like, you have not forgave him because you just got rowdy in a dream, girl.
No, seriously.
You have not. What did you forget?
Listen, and one thing about it, like, one of my aunts always used to speak to me. Like, she always used to have, like, these like little pictures of, like, the serenity prayer. And, like, now in my head, I always replay it back. It's like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I forgot the whole thing, but it's basically like a prayer that you say to God, and it helps you to forgive. Let me look it up for y'all.
Yeah, look it up.
Hold on.
Good
I used to remember it by heart. It used to be my my screensaver.
Well, I'm gonna have to have you back on.
Okay.
This was like a really great conversation.
Yes, definitely. The prayer goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Amen. So all in that prayer, there's 3 things that you're asking for, but they're so much bigger than what you're really saying. You're asking God to grant you the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change. Give me the peace and the sound mind to accept things into my life and into my heart that I know I can't change. Don't allow me to keep them as a burden. And the courage to change the things that I can change. If it's in my power to change it, God, allow me to change it. Why am I sitting here struggling with something? About something I don't have to. I can change it. I don't have to deal with this. And the wisdom to know the difference. That's the part of discernment. Like, give me the wisdom to be able to know the difference between the things I can't change, the things that I can just accept, and
good and bad.
Like, it's certain things you just have to accept for what they are. Change the things that you can change, accept things for what they are that you cannot change, and make sure you just know the difference in between times, so you're not frustrating yourself, because that's all it's going to lead to.
It's crazy that you said that you shared that prayer, because I'm in 1 Kings right now. So, like, the story of Solomon and stuff. And that was literally what his prayer was to God. Like, him asking God, like, just give me the wisdom to be able to discern good from bad. Like, how to, like, basically lead your people. But that's really beyond, like, even whatever you're doing in life. God, give me the discernment to know good from bad, and not asking him for things. And he granted him way more, because he wasn't even asking for him to give him things and items. He was asking him to make him better and be able to understand what he can do.
The spiritual side of things, the spiritual side. I'm about to look at your question things. We can zip through some.
Yep.
Where, like,
girl, we hit on almost everything though, because I was looking at it.
Yeah, okay.
I know how to listen. One thing about me.
Okay, you're gonna get it in. Right.
The little. Okay, so I did want to end off with, you did receive your Black Achievers Award.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I wanted to talk about that.
my goodness.
So that's the perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
So I want you to kind of just briefly say like why you got the award and like what we can expect what might be coming next, as much as you want to share.
So, okay. So, it gives me chills to talk about it every time because being, in like the 51st year of like the Black Achievers is crazy. Like, it is crazy. Like, I received certificates from the United States, from the Congress, the senators, the mayors. Like, this room was filled with thousands of people. And it was just like, whew, it was crazy. And
overwhelming.
yes, it was so overwhelming. And it caught me by surprise because it was at a time where I was going through a lot. And I didn't know, like, when you're on your walk, you still can get distracted. You still get very distracted and you can get brought down. And sometimes you feel so disconnected, even though you're not. But it came at such a crazy time that it caught me by surprise. And it just showed me that when you think nobody's watching, they're watching.
They're watching.
They're definitely watching. And sometimes I feel like in my business, like I might not always post on social media, but I hate social media. Like, I don't hate anything but social media. I can't stand posting. I can't stand doing all of that. Like, I just don't like it. I don't like posting. Like, I don't like making reels. Like, I don't
Girl,
like
you don't have
doing
to
that.
get into that then.
Like,
that's the easiest part, girl. And you in the easiest industry to do that, girl.
I hate it. And guess what? I record and take pictures of every service, but I do not post them.
You shouldn't even have said that to me, girl. Because, we'll get into that.
Oh my goodness, thank you, because I need it. But that Black Achievers Award, like, it just hit so different because, like I said, I'm 25 years old and I was the youngest Black woman on the panel. Like, there was 56, I believe, recipients, and I was the youngest Black woman on the panel by far. Like, by far. It wasn't nobody on there that was close to my age. So, like, sitting on that panel, I was the youngest Black woman, and then there was one guy, one young Black man who was like 19 or 20. And sitting on that panel, you realize that when you receive those awards, you're receiving them for integrity, dignity, the positive impact that you have on people's lives, and the route that you're taking. But to me, when I received that award, it was just so much bigger than that. Like, this was God pointing me out.
Confirming.
Yeah, it was pointing me out and
setting you apart.
Yeah, it was. So I received my award because, you know, I'm an esthetician. I do my services and things like that. And my business derives, like, I keep everything faith-based.
On point.
Yeah. But I know that I received my award because of my nonprofit organization that I'm forming called Polished Diamonds. And Polished Diamonds is for young women who are trying to find their way, young women who have had certain issues. Even if you haven't had certain issues in life, my organization, I should say, my nonprofit organization is for just a girl community. Like, I want a girl community, a woman community, a girl community, a woman community. And I want it to be Christ-based. And I want to be able to help push people in the right direction. Even when you're going in the right direction, sometimes you still need that. We need sisters to walk with.
And that's the bit. You can't do this stuff by yourself.
Yeah, you're supposed to walk with somebody. And, you know, I know how much it would have helped me if I had those things when I was growing up. I know how much it would help me to have girl groups. And so that's why I decided to formulate it. And when I tell you, like, getting that award and having my name in that book and my story in that book, so many people walked up to me at the end like, I gotta hook my niece up with you. I gotta hook my granddaughters up with you. I gotta hook my daughter up with you. And I'm like, bring them to me. Like, bring them to me. Give my information. Give my, you know, let them link up with me so that we can get this together.
Get it started,
we can get this together. And a lot of people like to see young women who are not only on the right path, but also walking with Christ. It's hard to find a lot of people who are walking with Christ nowadays because there's so much in the world that deters us away from him. So just receiving that, and then people coming up and just really, like, because they don't read the whole thing that's in that book. They don't read that whole page. So to see people looking and stopping at your name, and they read your story and they read what you do and what you want to do, and they come up to you and tell you that they would love to endeavor into that with their children, they're trusting me off impulse.
Yeah.
And that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm giving off to you to trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, when they called my name and they said Maya Reid, I was like,
Yeah.
Yep,
No,
Maya Reid.
period.
Yep. I want y'all to know who I am, and I want y'all to bring them girls on to me because we're going to make this work. We're going to make something shake for these girls.
Any ladies who are hearing this, please stay in the loop for that. Follow her. Make sure you're following her on Instagram.
My age bracket, older, all
What's
of that.
your
Like,
Instagram at?
my personal Instagram,
Yeah.
my personal Instagram is majestic_Maya.
Okay. And where else we can find you again?
Facebook, Maya Reid.
And
And then my
please,
business page is majestic_aesthetics. And yes, anybody
and that's where we're going to get all the updates for
Yes.
Polished Diamond.
everything.
Okay, well,
Yes.
we're going to have you back on here because we need to know a little more about that.
We can definitely do her too.
Yes, I love it. I love
Yes.
having you. Bye,
I love
y'all.
coming.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next. I said I'm going to surprise y'all, razzle dazzle. So, yeah, stay tuned.